This is a special edition of North Georgia News Now on North Georgia Television, WDNN. Now presenting our 2023 Dalton Mayoral Forum, hosted and moderated by Judy Elliott and Jason Hopkins.
Hello and welcome to the 2023 Candidates for Mayor Forum. I'm Judy Elliott and with me today is Jason Hopkins, and we're delighted to be the moderators here for this forum. In a moment, we'll meet the three qualifying candidates for Dalton's next mayor. As a reminder, this is a nonpartisan election. Before we begin, the three candidates drew to determine the order in which they will respond to the questions. First, second, and third. Mr. Tom Cosby will speak first, followed by Mrs. Annalise Sams, and then Mr. Jason Bergen. Speaking positions will rotate during this forum.
The questions for today's forum have been provided by WDNN and have been given to each of the candidates prior to this event. 1 minute will be given to each candidate for the opening statement, and 2 minutes will be allotted for each candidate to answer each question. 1 minute will be allowed for initial rebuttals. If time permits, candidates will be given an additional 30 seconds to provide additional rebuttals. Additionally, each candidate will be allowed 1 minute to make a closing statement. All the candidates have agreed to these rules prior to today's event.
Before we begin, we would like to thank our sponsors, Dalton Collision Center and Ultimate Roofing. At this time, we are ready to begin our forum. There will be no rebuttals in the 1 minute introductions. Mr. Cosby, you're the first. You have 1 minute for your introduction.
Thank you, Judy. I want to say thank you to our moderators for moderating this debate, and I want to say thank you to WDNN for putting this on. I think it's an important part of our democracy that the voters of this city can hear from all of the candidates, and it's a good thing. I want to address the two biggest criticisms that I've heard about my candidacy so far. First, that I have no experience in city government, and second, that my age is inappropriate for the office. I would remind the voters of this city that Mayor Mock, when he was in that office, and Mayor Pennington, neither had held city office prior to their election. It is a job that you can learn while you are doing it. It is a job that I feel more than capable of learning how to do. Second, I'm 33 years old. I am the same age Thomas Jefferson was when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. I'm young, but young people are capable of doing great things when given the opportunity, and I hope that you will trust me with your vote and give me the opportunity to be mayor of the city of Dalton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cosby. Mrs. Sams?
Hi, good morning, almost afternoon. I'm Annalise Sams, and I'm pleased to be here, and I agree with Tom that this is an important process, and it's a wonderful opportunity to inform the voters of the positions that we take on different issues. I'm a small business owner, and I'm a paramedic. I've served this community for 20 years as a paramedic and now in the healthcare services and end-of-life care through hospice. It's my desire to continue serving as I've done so on the City Council the past 6 years and to continue to make good things happen in Dalton. And it's exciting to be a part of a city that supports one another. We cheer for one another, and it's wonderful to continue to be a part of it and have that opportunity. And I look forward to participating in today's forum.
Thank you, Mrs. Sams. Mr. Jason Bergen.
I'm Jason Bergen, and all the nice things they said. And in addition to that, my goal is to try to bring a different view to Dalton. In the time I've been here, I've learned a great deal with working in 30 years in retail, 6 years in real estate, and just working alongside everyone. And I look forward to helping Dalton grow and be the best it can be.
Great. Thank you all for your introductions, candidates. We have to go to a break right now, but we'll be back with you shortly.
Has a recent storm damaged the roof of your home? Altman Roofing has been restoring homes since 1984. In Dalton alone, over 2,000 roofs have been replaced by Altman. Altman Roofing will also work with your insurance claim. For a free 15-minute estimate for roofing, siding, or gutters, call 706-529-8136 or visit altmanroofing.com. You can also see their professional work on Facebook.
My car looks totally ruined. I don't even know what to do.
Locally owned Dalton Collision Center is the only choice when it comes to all of your auto body and refinish needs. Our experienced staff provides quality work from start to finish, will help with your claim, and even assist with getting your rental car. Everything from A to Z.
So you can focus on life, we can focus on getting you there.
It's time for the 17th annual Black Bear Festival in Chatsworth, Georgia. Admission is only $5. Children 10 and under are free. Join us for crafts and free jump houses for the children and a long list of entertainment to get you to groove and boogie. There will be over 100 vendors with food and treats galore, so come and join us for some fun from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Maury County Rec Department at 745 Chestnut Street on October 21st and the 22nd. For more info, contact the Maury County Chamber of Commerce by calling 706-695-6060.
At Georgia Northwestern Technical College, we specialize in hands-on training for high-demand careers. GNTC offers over 200 programs of study in aviation, business, health, industrial, and public service at 6 convenient campus locations. With the Hope Career Grant, many of our programs are offered tuition-free. Visit us at gntc.edu. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. High-demand careers begin here.
Welcome back to the Dalton City Mayoral Forum. Thank you all for being with us. As mentioned earlier, the candidates are provided questions during this forum provided by WDNN, and the order in which the candidates are going has been randomly selected. Our first question for today, it goes to Ms. Annalee Sams, and that question is, if elected, what will be your first order of business?
Thank you, Jason. Having just left the City Council 6 years ago to step down to run for mayor, it would be a continuation of the programs that we have responsibly budgeted for through our capital improvement projects. We're a 175-year-old city, so there's quite a bit to do to refurbish infrastructure from stormwater management to parks and recreation. And I will mention that we have a park almost 1 per square mile of the city of Dalton, so it's a lot to refurbish, but we're already well on our way to doing that. Continuing to improve our turf fields and have all of those replaced by the end of next year. Those are among some of the projects that I would lead to continue seeing through to fruition.
Thank you, Annalee. Mr. Jason Bergen, your response to that question.
My first act as mayor would be to meet with my team and get to know everyone, get to know the ins and outs of every operation. I would greatly like to continue all the great projects that are currently happening and find out what other things that we can bring to the city.
Great, thank you, Jason. And Mr. Tom Cosby, your response.
Sure, thank you for the question. So if I were elected mayor, my first actions would be to take the bond that the city issued a few years ago to fund the Aquatic Center. It was about $20 million in total. The city has $15 million remaining in that bond that the city, meaning us, are paying debt service on. It's money that we've borrowed, money that we're paying for, and money that hasn't been put to use. It can be put to use immediately in stormwater management and in recreation. And this city has a couple of big problems that can be dealt with that money. First is there is a tremendous demand for pickleball courts. This city doesn't have enough. It's the fastest growing sport in this country. We need to build some so that the people can derive the benefit from the money that they're already paying for. Second, one thing that I would do immediately is to encourage the city to beautify some projects it has in the community. There is a
Tom,
gaping...
We'll have to cut you off there. Thank you for those words. All right. Judy.
Thank you. To each of you, what strength, qualifications, leadership roles do you have that you feel will make an effective mayor? And I'll start with Jason first.
Well, I've been a successful leader in a lot of fields for a great deal of my life. I've led teams to be number one in whatever industry we were in. And I feel like I will be able to bring the best out of every person by listening to what their strengths are and how they can best be utilized.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you for the question. I think a good mayor needs to love their community, needs to be a part of their community, and needs to be able to understand and lead their community. I was born here, so I didn't choose it at the start, but after law school I had opportunities to go throughout the Southeast United States, and I chose to come home and be here. I am a part of this community every day. I'm out and about downtown. I think elected officials need to be seen so that they can be held accountable for what they do and what they don't do. And I think, as I will lay out throughout this debate and throughout my platform, I've got a vision to lead this city in a different direction in the next 4 years.
Thank you. Annalee?
Thank you for the question, Judy. I maintain that experience matters. In the past 6 years, I have utilized a very pragmatic approach to the challenges that have come in front of the city. And to name one, during COVID, I believe I was a leader of action. The mayor and council made every effort to procure vaccine and treatment options for this community, and that's an example of what we do to make things happen for Daltonians and to serve Northwest Georgia and to support our industry. And I think that continuing that pragmatic approach is going to best serve the taxpayers of this community.
Thank you.
Question number 3. As reported in the news, Dalton Utilities and area industry have been involved in a lawsuit related to chemical discharge, which has recently been settled. What impact does that settlement have on the city plans for the future, the cost to correct the situation, and any impact that you foresee? And we'll start with Tom.
Thank you for the question. Just to clarify, there are 2 pending lawsuits. One has been settled. That one was filed by the City of Rome. The second case that remains pending is filed by the ratepayers of Rome. It's a prospective class action in which the class has not been certified. The problem is that Dalton Utilities has a land application site that contains wastewater runoff from our industry. And part of that wastewater contains 2 chemical substances in large part, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. They're forever chemicals. They're what we use to make Stainmaster carpet, to make carpet stain resistant, water repellent, and water resistant. And the EPA has just, or is about to come out with new rules that say that there is essentially no amount of those chemicals in water that is safe for human beings. It's a problem. It's a problem because we as the city have to address it, because Dalton Utilities is the source of about half of the city's revenue, and it provides the drinking water, power, electricity, and sewer for this community. It's something that we need to face head on. It's something I believe I'm uniquely capable to address because I've been a part of that lawsuit, and I'm currently representing the ratepayers of the city of Somerville in one very similar to that action. It has the potential to hamstring our community if it's not dealt with appropriately, and I think that the people need to be made aware of it, need to be made aware of the particulars of it, and they need to know that their city leaders are focused on that issue, because I think it's the biggest threat our city faces. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Annalee?
Yes, thank you, Jason. And again, implementing that pragmatic approach. I have been a part of the City Council since January of 2018 until just recently, as I referenced. Dalton Utilities retained expert legal counsel, special counsel for this matter when industry, floor covering, and chemical manufacturers were potentially going to be sued. The special counsel that was retained has guided this community and has, I think, reduced as much risk as is possible, and I would continue to support that the special counsel will continue to lead this community through that in the best way possible. I think it is important to note that it's a little premature to talk about how this will be paid for and what the impact will be on ratepayers, meaning if your water bill is going to go up or not. And I would like to mention that Dalton Utilities has maintained some of the lowest water rates in Northwest Georgia for some time, and there is no reason to believe that that would change now or in the future.
Okay, thank you, Annalee. Jason?
Due to this issue, Rome had to build a water treatment facility for $100 million to try to make the water safe for their citizens. Like they both said, this is an ongoing problem that our attorneys are doing their jobs with, but ultimately everyone has a right to clean drinking water, and we need to make sure it's taken care of, and whoever is responsible is held to that standard.
Okay. Well, thank you all for your responses to that question. At this time, we'll be taking our second commercial break for today's event. Thank you.
Has a recent storm damaged the roof of your home? Altman Roofing has been restoring homes since 1984. In Dalton alone, over 2,000 roofs have been replaced by Altman. Altman Roofing will also work with your insurance claim. For a free 15-minute estimate for roofing, siding, or gutters, call 706-529-8136 or visit altmanroofing.com. You can also see their professional work on Facebook.
My car looks totally ruined. I don't even know what to do.
Locally owned Dalton Collision Center is the only choice when it comes to all of your auto body and refinish needs. Our experienced staff provides quality work from start to finish, will help with your claim, and even assist with getting your rental car. Everything from A to Z.
So you can focus on life, we can focus on getting you there.
It's time for the 17th annual Black Bear Festival in Chatsworth, Georgia. Admission is only $5. Children 10 and under are free. Join us for crafts and free jump houses for the children and a long list of entertainment to get you to groove and boogie. There will be over 100 vendors with food and treats galore, so come and join us for some fun from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Maury County Rec Department at 745 Chestnut Street on October 21st and the 22nd. For more info, contact the Maury County Chamber of Commerce by calling 706-695-6060.
At Georgia Northwestern Technical College, we specialize in hands-on training for high-demand careers. GNTC offers over 200 programs of study in aviation, business, health, industrial, and public service at 6 convenient campus locations. With the Hope Career Grant, many of our programs are offered tuition-free. Visit us at gntc.edu. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. High-demand careers begin here.
Hi, and welcome back to the 2023 Candidates for Mayor Forum. Thank you for joining us back. We now continue with our forum with the next question. Next question is, in Dalton, the homeless population has been identified as a growing challenge. Do you have a plan to combat that problem? And that first question will go to Annalee.
Thank you, Judy. The Community Development Corporation of Dalton Whitfield is an organization that has both public and private funding. And through that organization as a third party and other third parties, the City of Dalton has an opportunity to allocate monies from the general fund. And at this time, I verified this, that entity, as others, none have requested any increase in funding. So my first action would be to go to those folks and say, okay, let's really look at the metrics of homelessness and the impact, and to talk with the school system, as that is often the first qualifying information that we have that there is housing insecurity for citizens and also for our youth. But not seeing any increase in requirement of funding, concerns me that maybe we're not really looking at the right metrics, if in fact it is true that homelessness is increased significantly, as the question reflects. The drivers for homelessness, from mental health to substance abuse, continue to have to be services that the City of Dalton supports, both directly and indirectly.
All right, thank you very much. Jason, I will repeat the question if you'd like.
Oh, good. Okay.
In Dalton, the homeless population has been identified as a growing challenge. Do you have a plan to combat that problem?
I know there's currently things in progress to provide more homeless housing. But as far as an immediate thing, I would say give your money to the organizations that are helping the homeless instead of the random homeless person you see, because they can help a lot more people. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Tom.
Sure. For me to say I could wave a magic wand and solve the problem would be a lie. This is a problem that faces every community in this country. It faces every community in the world. It's not one that any individual or city government is capable of solving. I think it's a problem that we have to compassionately manage. I think Dalton has some of the best non-governmental organizations in town and charities in town that can address this problem. And with our city's capacity for philanthropy, if they can't solve it, I don't see how anybody could expect the mayor of the city to do it. We have to treat them like human beings that have fallen on rough times for whatever reason, and we have to ensure that every person in this community can always feel safe, which Dalton Police does a wonderful job in doing. It's a problem to be managed, it's a problem to be contained, and it's a problem to be compassionate about. I don't think it's a problem to be solved.
Thank you very much.
Great. Our next question. Housing has been identified as a challenge. In particular, residents are having trouble finding affordable housing to rent. How will you address the situation, the rising housing costs, especially for those with limited income? And we'll start with Jason.
It's a nationwide problem that is definitely a problem that we need to address. We can't make people who are private business owners charge less for their product. We can incentivize them with grants, whatever we can, to make it more beneficial for them to build lower price housing.
Thank you, Jason. Next, Tom, your response.
Thank you. Yeah, the city has no control over the two biggest factors in the cost of housing, which is the cost of labor and the cost of raw materials. We can't impact it, we can't affect it. Those are governed by international scales of economy. The perception that we have in the city of Dalton is that too often we have a regulatory posture of either no or we can't do that here. If I were elected mayor, I would ensure that that changed and we had a culture of how can we make it happen here. The other thing is the city is 22 square miles, and like my great-grandfather said, they ain't making any more land. So if we're going to grow, it can't be geographically. It means that we need to take a serious look at our zoning code and see about the possibility of changing some of our laws to make a higher density level of residential possible. I'll give you an example. I represent a couple of developers in northwest Georgia, and they build starter homes. They build tract houses in Gordon County, in Bartow County, and Floyd County. And for them, they have to build 80 road front feet per lot to sell that lot. It costs them about $1,000 a linear foot of roadway. If you reduce the lot frontage from 80 feet to 60 feet, you reduce the cost right there by $20,000. And that's a cost savings that they could pass on to home buyers. Ultimately, it is again beyond the power of the mayor or the city council to address, but there are things that we can do to make it less of a problem.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom. Anna Lee, your thoughts?
As it relates to affordable housing, it is definitely a supply and demand issue. I've mentioned we're a 175-year-old community, and we're bound by our city limits. And so part of what has worked, and a component that has worked well in other communities, is to build up and understand that we're going to have smaller lots and zero lot lines. So there's going to be changes that we need to take on our zoning, and design standards are going to be a helpful security that puts on making sure that the housing is of good quality. That's worked well in other communities, and that's a best practice. The public-private partnerships that exist presently that have been led through the city and through the chamber, I think seeing those projects come to fruition already speaks to how we are currently combating our affordable housing issue, and also just our housing stock issue and that's a good problem to have. People want to be here. Dalton is a place that people want to not just work any longer, they want to live here with us as well. So I think just continuing to work on those public-private partnerships as we're doing is going to serve us best.
Great, thanks, Anna Lee.
All right, we go now to our question 6. Dalton has experienced some very positive developments with the downtown area. As mayor, how would you further develop and address any other issues that might be of concern to downtown? Do you feel a quiet zone is needed, and if so, why? And I will start that question with Tom.
Thank you. I do feel that a quiet zone is needed, and I'll tell you why. There are communities northwest Georgia who are ahead of us on this issue. Ringgold is working on it, Cartersville is working on it, Chattanooga already has it, parts of Atlanta have it. It's an expensive issue to solve for us. It'll cost between $2.5 and $3 million, and it's currently up for inclusion on the next SPLOST. But Burr Park cost $2.5 million. It has had an explosive impact on the quality of life in our downtown area. It's revitalized the area, it's brought traffic into the area, it's improved our tax digest in the area from the sales tax that occurs. Anything that we can do to make our downtown more attractive, more livable, more easy for use and development or for living in or for walking in is something that this city ought to do. It won't have a dollar for dollar effect. We can't trace the effect that it has, but it will have an impact that needs to happen. And in making these railroad stops quiet zones, or railroad crossings quiet zones, what's involved is you make the crossings safer to where the trains don't have to blow their horns. And I think we can all agree that's something that needs to happen.
Thank you very much. Next question, same question, but we'll go to Annalee on that, please.
Okay, thank you, Judy. With looking at train crossing, creating quiet zones, it is a wonderful idea on paper, and I do not object to looking at it again. And I say again because in 2010, 2012, our city looked at doing this, and I would like for people to imagine for a moment the pros of this and then the unintended consequence. And I think a mayor has to be a person, along with the council and the professional staff, that says, this sounds good, it looks good, can we make the dollars work, but what are the unintended consequences? When this was reviewed about 10 years ago, we were going to have to close the Tyler Street crossing to through traffic. So imagine you're dropping your kid off at Westwood School and you can't cross over Tyler Street any longer. And it was going to require that Hamilton Street crossing was going to need to be one way. So you have to ask, well, I would be in favor of bringing the cars in and allowing through traffic to go south. But the concern is that's an unintended consequence. So when I think about going to the new Italian restaurant at the Mill and the only way I could get there is to go over and access it from the bypass, that would be an unintended consequence. So if this is a desire of the community, again, if it's recommended to be on the SPLOST list and we look at it again, we want to make sure there are no unintended consequences. But there's no doubt our downtown is thriving, and there's nothing more enjoyable than being out at Burr Park, that's for certain.
Thank you. Jason?
As someone whose office is also near the train tracks, I understand it's loud, but for a very brief minute, and it's a train. So I don't really feel that we need to put resources in that are paid for by our taxpayers. Even though if we can do something where it is a quiet zone, it doesn't add to taxes, yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. But I just don't see any feasible way that's not going to be passed on to the taxpayer at this time.
All right, thank you very much. We will go to a commercial break right now. We'll be right back with you in just a moment.
Has a recent storm damaged the roof of your home? Altman Roofing has been restoring homes since 1984. In Dalton alone, over 2,000 roofs have been replaced by Altman. Altman Roofing will also work with your insurance claim. For a free 15-minute estimate for roofing, siding, or gutters, call 706-529-8136 or visit altmanroofing.com. You can also see their professional work on Facebook.
My car looks totally ruined. I don't even know what to do.
Locally owned Dalton Collision Center is the only choice when it comes to all of your auto body and refinish needs. Our experienced staff provides quality work from start to finish, will help with your claim, and even assist with getting your rental car. Everything from A to Z.
So you can focus on life, we can focus on getting you there.
It's time for the 17th annual Black Bear Festival in Chatsworth, Georgia. Admission is only $5. Children 10 and under are free. Join us for crafts and free jump houses for the children and a long list of entertainment to get you to groove and boogie. There will be over 100 vendors with food and treats galore, so come and join us for some fun from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Maury County Rec Department at 745 Chestnut Street on October 21st and the 22nd. For more info, contact the Maury County Chamber of Commerce by calling 706-695-6060.
At Georgia Northwestern Technical College, we specialize in hands-on training for high-demand careers. GNTC offers over 200 programs of study in aviation, business, health, industrial, and public service at 6 convenient campus locations. With the Hope Career Grant, many of our programs are offered tuition-free. Visit us at gntc.edu. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. High-demand careers begin here.
welcome back. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you've joined the 2023 Dalton City Mayoral Forum. I'm Jason Hopkins, joined by Judy Elliott, and we are in the middle of our questions for the mayoral candidates. Our next question up: how will you support and improve city services from sanitation to public safety and beyond to keep our citizens safe? Be as specific as possible, and we'll start with Anna Lee.
Thank you, Jason. It is possible to always improve on excellence, but when it comes to our city services, excellence is the word that comes to mind. City taxpayers get a lot of bang for their buck. From our fire department to our police services to our public works department, we have a fantastic road and sanitation department. I would like to start there. Making sure that we retain those workers and we do not lose any of our CDL drivers and we're competitive with our wages is very important to keep up city services of that. I would like to also mention the Whitfield County and Dalton Partnership of Solid Waste Authority. The recycling program that we do is second to none, and I recently took a tour of it and was extremely impressed, and we have to continue to, because that entity support that because they actually create a profit, and that's important to offset the burden on the taxpayer of those services. For police and fire, our fire department, we have to remember, has become a support service to our hospital systems. EMS service is often fire department is arriving alongside EMS, and we have to continue to make sure that we are supporting those programs so that we can have excellent first responder services available to our citizens. I do want to mention that when it's important for a mayor and any council member to listen to his or her constituents, and safety and speed reduction was an issue in some neighborhoods, so the implementation of the speed bumps that we see in different places throughout the community has also made our community safer, and doing things such as that will continue to be a priority of mine.
Great, thank you, Annalee. Jason, again, the question: how will you support and improve city services from sanitation to public safety and beyond?
Currently, I feel everything is running very smoothly, so I would continue to support everyone in what they're doing and make sure to listen to anything that we might be able to improve upon. And as I meet with other people, if there's any other problems that we need to address, I'll factor into that.
Great, thank you, Jason. Tom, your response?
Sure, thank you. I've got a philosophy of you find good people, you give them what they need, and you leave them alone. Dalton has wonderful professionals in both police, fire, road safety, all of our public services. I don't know anything about being a police officer. I don't know anything about being a firefighter. What I do know is that the mayor has to be the leader of this community and kind of the buck stops here of all of these employees. If anybody's going to encounter an employee of the city, it's most likely to be a police officer or a firefighter. They are individuals that we can be proud of. They are individuals that need to feel that we are proud of them. And that would be my priority as mayor, in ensuring that we attract professionals that will do good PR and make sure that our city looks good every time that they interact with either a citizen of this community or a citizen traveling through. To keep and retain good people is my philosophy.
Great. Thank you all for your responses.
Next question. What are your plans for improving Dalton's infrastructure? And that question will first go to Jason.
Well, currently there's a lot of great things in progress. Wastewater management, I think we allocated $10 million for that. We have the playgrounds, we have cityscape development downtown. I would just help make those projects, like the aquatic center, just help make them run smoothly and get them to fruition.
Thank you. Tom?
Sure. If I were elected mayor, there's been a lot of things that this city's been talking about doing. We've been talking about building a greenway. We've been talking about improving our cityscape. They're part of our master plans and have been part of our master plans for years, and we haven't done them. We've been focused on aquatic centers. We've been focused on Market Street. That'll change under my administration. We will focus on, if not completing these projects, at least getting them started and getting them to work. We'll take the money that we've allocated with that bond, we'll spend it. Okay? There are a couple of lawsuits that the city is currently in that relate to wastewater and stormwater management. Those will need to be resolved. They're unpleasant, they're dirty, kind of. They cost us money and we don't derive a tangible benefit from them, but there are things that need to be addressed so that we can address the things that we want to. And as mayor, those would be my goals.
Thank you. Next question. This question will go to Annalee Sims. Same question, sorry. What are your plans for improving Dalton's infrastructure?
Thank you, Judy. In building on excellence again, this December we look for the first 1.5 miles of our Greenway Trail system to be complete. It's going to be an additional mile is slated to connect from downtown, so imagine you're at the top of the dam at Hag Mill and you have a way to connect and get to downtown, and that's already being delivered. What I'm excited about is the intention that we are going to take that connectivity after we do the additional mile to downtown and go all the way to Lakeshore Park, which is going to be awesome for our citizens and for our visitors. In looking at the stormwater management, we have the $15 million that is already earmarked on our bond is committed almost to entirely to continuing the capital refurbishment projects of our almost one park per square mile in this community. So there's 19 parks. The John Davis Recreation Center, which was in extreme need of rehab, and our stormwater management is going to take the lion's share of that money that's already earmarked for that. So continuing to build on excellence and looking to be a place that people now want to visit. And that's what's next for Dalton, is that we become a place that has the infrastructure support to be a destination as well.
Thank you very much. We are now at our closing statements. Thank you all for joining us and being part of this forum. The question part has ended. At this time, each of you will have 1 minute for your close. And Tom, we'll start with you.
Thank you. I think as I've laid out throughout this debate, I offer a different perspective to what this city may be used to. What I want to see in the next 4 years is a substantial change in the trajectory that we are on. I want to see us become a city that leads Northwest Georgia instead of follows it as it has in a couple of issues. I want to see a city that's shed of its current lawsuits and liabilities, and I want to see a city that we can be proud of, that we can attract more people to, and that those passing through here, those driving through here, those visiting here will want to call home. And I hope you'll give me the opportunity to help make that happen.
Thank you very much. Annalee?
Yes, thank you, Judy. I've enjoyed the opportunity to speak to voters through answering these questions, and hopefully voters will feel more informed from watching this program. But I ask voters to consider not just what they will want to see, but what they have seen. And I think in 6 years we have seen delivery of projects that we're now seeing come to fruition with Streetscape Downtown. That's about 20 years in the making on Kyler Street. And the infrastructure support of stormwater has been a long time coming. So to really look at, well, how have we improved over the past 6 to 8 years, and that we're headed in the right direction. And I look forward to people voting and getting out in the highest numbers hopefully we've seen in a local election. And I ask for your vote and support so that we can keep making good things happen for all citizens of Dalton.
Thank you very much. Jason?
I want to focus on more inclusion. 50% of our population is bilingual. We want to have more events, more things to incorporate us as a community, and continue all the good things that we're currently doing, and look towards the future, look at ways we can improve, grow, bring more people, more business, and help incentivize the next entrepreneur wave by providing them the resources they need to start new businesses, to start new industries, and make Dalton what it's always meant to be, which is the best city you could have. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, candidates, for your dedicated time to this forum today. This forum will be aired tonight again, September 25th, 7 o'clock p.m., here on WDNN TV. And again, the next 2 Saturdays, September 30th and October 7th at 10:30 a.m., as well as YouTube, WDNN North Georgia Television.
This now concludes this event. Again, we want to thank our sponsors for this event, Dalton Collision Center and Altman Roofing. Thank you for joining us here for the North Georgia News Now's 2023 Dalton Mayoral Forum. Thank you, Annalee Harlan, Jason Bergen, and Tom Cosby for your time today and for your deep interest in the betterment of our city. As a reminder for our viewers, Election Day is November 7th. Visit mvp.sos.ga.gov for precinct information. The registration cutoff date is October 10th. Early voting begins October 16th and runs through November 3rd.
And who will be the next mayor of Dalton will be up to you. So get out there and vote. On behalf of Jason Hopkins and myself, thank you for joining us here, and thank you for watching WDNN Dalton.
Thank you.